I've been looking at Casio Fortran type calculators for a while, and this is an FX202P. One thing I noticed was you've got this missing space here and this missing space here, where you could have had a key if the keyboard matrix had actually had a position with the contacts for keys in those two places. But you can always just wire up some external keys to those positions in the key matrix and see what happens. So I've done that. I've got a couple of buttons here. So if I press that button, it flickers, and if I press this button, it also sort of blinks a little bit. Now I've taken the slide switches out as well, and if I put this into program mode, you can see that the key code comes up. So if you press 10 to the X, you get a sort of, what is it, a sort of T with a 6, and it goes from 1 to 6. If I press that button, I get a 0. So that's this key position here, and that is actually T0, which isn't one of the key presses that you can normally get from the keyboard. And similarly, this one down here, if I press this button here, you can see that it comes up with a sort of R8, and there is no R8. So there's an extra key which isn't on the keyboard. Now at the moment I don't know what they do. I know what the internal key codes are for all these keys, but I don't think the function is really dependent on the key code for quite a few of them. Obviously the number of keys it is. Another thing that's interesting is when you take these slide switches out, you've got a power switch which has got 2 positions. You can sort of see the key there. Well, it's a slide switch here, and you've got another one with 3 positions for the programming mode, and you've got another one for radians, degrees and gradients, and that switch there isn't a 3-position switch, it's a 6-position switch. You can see I'm sliding it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've wired that up, and I can't really say I found anything particularly exciting. If I put it in the, have a look, in the degrees position, and I put 90 sine, we get 1. If I put it in the gradients position, 90 sine, I get a number, 0.98, and if I put it in the radians position, 90 sine, I get an error. If I put it in the next position over and do 90 sine, I get 1. So that really looks again like degrees. And then the next one over, I get that, 636, which isn't a number that was in any of those 3 positions. And if I move over to the far left hand position and try it, I get that same strange number. So it's obviously doing something, but again, what it's doing I haven't really worked out. I don't know how useful these extra keys are going to be and so on. Now it is possible using a RAM replacement system, which I did for some of these calculators, where you take out one of the RAM chips, the chip that stores the program and the data if you want, and replace it with an RP2040 circuit. With that you can put arbitrary programs into the memory space, so you can use these keys even if you don't have the external switches by using that sort of mechanism. It does involve taking the RAM chips out of the calculator, so you can get those codes if they're useful without having to do all this wiring. The slide switch you can't, because that's not a program code, it's actually just electrical connections which the calculator must look at when it does various calculations that have degrees, radians and gradients in them. So yeah, quite interesting. I know what those key codes are now, and I have no idea what they do.